Okay, so again, I'm not really good with microphones, so we're gonna see how this goes. I think there are basically two ways to read poetry to people that haven't read your work before. And the first way is that you say nothing and are very mysterious and let meaning fall where it may, which is like a valiant thing to do, but I'm not gonna do that. So these, all these poems are from my current manuscript, which is about like sunshine and balloons and child abuse and mostly my mother. So it's a fun journey. The first poem I'm gonna read is called Woman Won as Wife. And most of the book is the speaker talking about her mother or my mother, whatever. But this poem is actually supposed to be from her perspective, which took me like forever to write. There's one weird plant in this, forsythia. It's that yellow bush that looks like little stars. Okay. Woman Won as Wife. The cherry tree is a stunning fiction about our history, a mouth that opens only in spring. I say our because I seem to have no choice. How to blame a tree for being what it is? A mother gathering herself on a white tile floor in a garden of her own making. The earth gives nothing here, not sun enough for oranges. Anything luminous is dead in a year. This is my 7th, and I have nothing new, no husband to speak of. Only a strange, cold daughter, a long gray line of time staring up from the bed. The closest thing to love is a hyacinth bean tearing its purple fingers up the downspout as I sleep. But America has always been a lie like this. 4 beds and a kitchen of ivory plastic. No mention of family. But a field where the only light is yellow forsythia. The sky lives alone in the blue needles of pines. I was promised a life less bitter than the hands of my father. So I trusted a man with the sun in his hair who split aloe with a small silver knife and soothed it into the burn of my back. Something warm, a permanent weight in the hand. At night, the past brings buckets and carefully bleaches my room, carries me north to cold country, where I sleep in a down jacket with the smallest animals to keep them warm. Oh, alive. That's not warm, it's alive. When I said I wanted a diamond, I meant a light I could hold, an eye that looked and cast me back to myself. I bought a future, but I should have asked for 3 months of rain, for something other than the taste of my own mouth. Okay, 1 down, guys, only 5 to go. When I signed up on the set list sign up, it said each slot is 20 minutes, and I was like, doesn't matter who it is, no one wants to hear 20 minutes of a poet reading their own work.
She's also going to do parlor tricks.
Yeah, you're gonna do parlor tricks for me. Did you not know that?
Now I do.
Okay.
Yes, that's my
Okay, so this one is called, I've also never read most of these before in public, so it's trial by fire, I guess. This one's on knowing my body is not my own. In a skirt, reading, walking at night, alone, with a friend, at a bar, at the park, in the classroom, as a child, on the street, while looking older, while buying milk, while looking up, writing, trying to walk, drunk, sober, dressed to the nines, down on my knees, running on a Tuesday in June. In mourning, while working, while asking for it, while not being asked. In a car, walking home, walking away, wearing makeup, trying to walk home, in love, in sweatpants in the morning, on the street carrying laundry, carrying fear, wearing nothing, wearing anything, trying to walk home. Okay, I like this one, so I'll read it. Imagine I left like a really long pause and then I kept reading the same poem.
That was going to be cool. I thought you were going to do that.
Okay, I'll do that next reading.
Okay.
Woman 1 is prayer. I have come as you taught me, Mother, dressed in third person. To be clean of my elaborate selfishness, I hungered until the day I could walk into the stalks and silk, and they did not move around me. I drove northward in open air until my skin transluced, bone blue in the January dark. I hungered as you taught me to become the horizon. I understood desire to be before I knew what it was to be the animal someone rides away on. You know, I wanted instructions for pain. And like you, I am from a country where horror is a season, face down in the back seat, smelling of menthol and bleach, where the cherry trees outside bent and wept their picturesque pornography. Yes, Mother, I hungered, and when they opened my mouth, I swallowed your name. This is not a long pause. Thank you.
Excellent.
I think I'll read 3 more. I have time, right?
All the time.
Let's not do that. This one is one of a series of poems all entitled Mare, like the horsey. Mare. My childhood was short and filled with color. I learned the names of things. I took to the trees to be held. If there was a field, Mother, you were its opposite, the hollow where my worship was, and I, the bad echo. When asked to describe a tremendous violence, I said it must have been deserved. In your garden, I learned the word woman, how to be deciduous. Winter on winter, I dressed myself with your hands, put on your mouth and tried to speak. My body became thin enough, and the men did what they could to it. I thanked each one. There were no horses to ride away on. There was a window, and I ate its light. Hearing the word home still makes me weak. How cold it was, wondering if you were asleep in the next room. I was asked to describe a tremendous violence, and I was not believed. I missed you as a child would. Dear origin, dear lightless sky, dear river, I am receding from you. You have made my bed, now lie. This is the newest good poem I've written. I'm not going to read you any of the bad ones. A New Versailles. When I was young, the boys would throw nectarines and small citrus at the tall window of my imagination. The sound of them striking, lush and ripe, rain in a known forest at night. My grandmother's hand measured out months, then measured years, until it measured nothing, and I took to her vellum and sitting. The windows grew large and visible to the outside, and sunlight entered with its steel. Love is always unrequited until death, in his fullness and velvet cape, sets into the orchard and puts his long-fingered hands on your tree, on your bark. What big thoughts we have circling this earth on our 2 small feet. What elaborate sandals we wear, as if lightning wouldn't strike us just as we are reaching out to ask a question. There are many true stories of how I learned desire. The worst is when the room thinned and turned against me. No knuckled wood reached through the glass. No soft rotting underfoot as I walked. If I walked, it was a hall. No bees or damp noises, but a new Versailles showing me only me. Okay, this is... Do I have time for 2 more? Okay. I'm going on 10 minutes, and there's like a poetry saturation point in 11 and a half minutes where you all like will go crazy. I think this is the first poem in my manuscript, or maybe second. And it's the first poem that I successfully wrote in first person for it, not in general. Autobiography. I became part of the house, its heart, many-valved and attached. It's true, I grew tired of beating. I wanted to say more than I am. For example, I was, or I will be. We will not speak about what happened at night, except that there were hands, that they were wood white and pale. Silence taught me well, but not to be good. I closed up my pronouns, fashioned boxes, and buried them in red clay, as if the color of the earth mattered. My gods were stone, pocked with rain, waiting for birds. I warned them about biography, about the horror, and I continue. There was a garden with roses, where air was scarce. I liked it, even lightheaded, even aching for the enemy. I hated the moon for its plainness. There was beauty, and it was paid for. I stood at the windows in late afternoon and ripened, wanting to be inevitable. There were other roads to hell, but this was mine. All right, this is the last poem I'm going to read. It's also called Mare, and I think it's one of the only poems where I tried to, well, I don't need to preface it anymore. Mare. There is no law against evil. You buried your son alone under a lime tree. He was almost a boy, but they called him something else, as though you had carried him up a staircase inside you and missed a step. I never knew you with long hair, without your thick history. The light held your face like a chisel. God was a clock hanging above us, working his gold hands backward. You spoke of heaven as though you had been there and found it wanting. There were whole forests you made just to lose me in. You knew I would always come home. There is no law against evil. So I learned to gather the night rain in the place a soul should be. I never ate at that table in your mind where the other children sit, each small head bent and blank with thanks. Thank you.